Welcome to 2026 NFL Mock Draft 1.0 to this channel. Welcome. I've done this 2 times, and now I'm doing it for the third time in a year in a row. And this is coming after the Scouting Combine. Got the chance to see a little bit of the Scouting Combine. We are almost getting to the free agency, NFL free agency, which I will have some videos about NFL free agencies, the signings, deals that got done, and the trades that got done, including we just had earlier with Tytus Howard to the Browns, and then David Montgomery leaving the Lions to go to the Houston Texans in exchange for Juice Strokes, now going to Detroit. Without further ado, it's time for my mock draft 1.0. So, with the first pick in the 2026 mock draft 1.0, the Las Vegas Raiders select Fernando Mendoza, quarterback out of Indiana. This is a no-brainer for all of us. Fernando had an incredible year in Indiana, his first time undefeated with the Hoosiers, won the national championship with the Hoosiers, and a Heisman Trophy as his resume. I think he's going to do a lot of good things. I think he's the fit for the Raiders because Clint Kubiak wants to develop young quarterbacks. He did that with Sam Darnold in Seattle, and he replicate that year to next season, which is 2026 season, to Fernando Mendoza. I think he can do that to him. And Mendoza will go to a team with a lot of good respect. Of course, the history, of course, with the Raiders, but the players. Ashton Jeanty on offense. You got Brock Bowers on offense. So really, the foundation is there. I like this pick. Fernando Mendoza going to the Raiders. At number 2, I have the Jets selecting Arvell Reese, outside linebacker out of the Ohio State Buckeyes. He has this Micah Parsons kind of style play. When he's at linebacker, middle linebacker, he is covered guy. He's a covered linebacker, but when he gets to this pass rushing ability, yeah, it has that kind of NFL style pass rushing ability. And Arvell Reese, I think he fits with the Jets. The Jets, of course, remember they traded Jermaine Johnson to the Titans, so I do think this is where they fill up that replacement with Arvell Reese. Then number 3, the Arizona Cardinals selecting an offensive tackle from Miami, Francis Mauigonia, tackle for the Canes. This, I think, it works because Paris Johnson Jr. is going to play right tackle, and you plug in Francis Mauigonia at left tackle, and they're probably going to address that offensive line, hopefully throughout free agency, with Mike LaFleur as the next head coach for the Cardinals. A real young tackle there. I think he and Paris Johnson could end up, hopefully, become the youngest duos in the NFL for the tackle position. All right, Tennessee, number 4th pick for Robert Saleh and the Titans. I'm going with Rueben Bain Jr. Now, this could go David Bailey because of the way he had his performance at the Combine. But I think Rueben Bain Jr. is still more athletic, even though he has the short arms, which the NFL scouts have measured his arms. I just think Rueben Bain Jr. has that pass rushing ability to get after those quarterbacks, and he can do it. I think the Titans should pick him. Rueben Bain Jr., defensive end from Miami. Then the New York Giants. Earlier it was Carnell Tate, then it is Caleb Downs. I'm going to make a big surprise. I'm going to say the Giants will select Sonny Styles, linebacker out of Ohio State. Why Sonny Styles? Well, if you go look at that historical combine, by the way, that man can play. That man can do the drills really good. And I think John Harbaugh, the new head coach of the Giants, is going to want a linebacker that is physical, a tackling machine, and hopefully a future all-pro type of guy. That reminds me of Roquan Smith in Baltimore. Remember, when when the Ravens had Roquan Smith, he's the leader of that defense. He's a tackling machine guy. And I can see that to Sony Styles. I think, of course, they're going to release Bobby Okereke, which they're expected to release him. This, to me, is the likely fit for the Giants. I like Sony Styles. He reminds me of a Roquan Smith. And get this, he played safety, and then after his time at safety, they pushed him to linebacker. So I think he reminds me of Roquan Smith. I think he fits with that Giants defense. Give me Sony Styles with the Giants. Number 6, the Cleveland Browns select Spencer Fano, tackle for Utah. He checks every boxes. He can play left tackle, which wouldn't make sense for him because, again, the Browns have Titus Howard. He's going to end up playing right tackle. So I do see this as a opportunity for Spencer Fano to play in left tackle. Then the Washington Commanders at number 7. The Commanders select David Bailey, defensive end out of Texas Tech. Really love his physical ability, his pass rushing ability. His performance in the combine, spectacular. And I do think if this were to happen, I think the Commanders could make a big one right there with David Bailey coming to Washington, D.C. Then the New Orleans Saints. The Saints selecting Carnell Tate, wide receiver out of Ohio State. I think Carnell Tate is the best fit for New Orleans. Put him with Chris Olave as the next Ohio State duo with Tyler Shough at quarterback. I like Carnell Tate to New Orleans. Number 9, the Kansas City Chiefs. I think this is one of those Ashton Jeanty picks. Jeremiah Love to the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, if I were to compare him, he reminds me of a Bijan Robinson. He can break tackles. He has the speed. Oh, and he can make some good cuts, and he can hurt it. By the way, that's what Kansas City needs. They need someone who can get those more yardage. Not a 5-yard, 3-yard rusher. They need a guy that can go 15, 20-plus rushing yarder. I think Jeremiah Love checks those boxes, and I think he ends up going to Kansas City. Number 10, the Cincinnati Bengals. I got the Bengals selecting Caleb Downs, safety out of Ohio State. To me, I think they can go pass rush because Trey Hendrickson is in free agency. But we'll see if they do address that in free agency. If not, maybe I would probably change that to pass rush, but that would probably be in my 2.0. But for right now, I think Geno Stone needs another safety on his side. I think Caleb Downs, staying in Ohio, could probably help enough for this improving pass defense for the Bengals. I love Caleb Downs to the Bengals. 11th pick, the Miami Dolphins. They select Mansour Delane, cornerback out of LSU. They can go tight end. They can go defensive tackle, linebacker. I like them going corner. I think the best corner available is Mansour Delane. They need to address that pass defense. And Jeff Hafley, in his first pick as the Dolphins head coach, will be Mansour Delane. The Dallas Cowboys at number 12. This is probably a bit too high for me, but I have to. I like C.J. Allen, linebacker from Georgia, to go to the Cowboys, and I think he would be a tackling machine there. They need to improve the tackling a lot in Dallas, and I think C.J. Allen can do that. The Rams, the Los Angeles Rams, selecting Jermon McCoy, cornerback out of Tennessee. They need to upgrade their pass coverage. Of course, in that championship game, they struggle against JSN. They struggle against Shaheed, Cooper Kupp. They're going to need some of those guys to step up against that Seahawks receivers. I think Jermon McCoy can fill that hole. Jermon McCoy to the Rams. 14, the Ravens and Jesse Minter. And I like this pick. Jesse Minter and the Ravens will select Jordan Tyson, wide receiver out of Georgia. I really do feel like that's the pick for me. Lamar Jackson needs another weapon. Put Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, Jordan Tyson, Mark Andrews. With Declan Dole calling the plays, yeah, I think they need to get that offense to another level, and I think Jordan Tyson fits in that Ravens offense. Then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Buccaneers at 15 select Colston Hood, cornerback out of Tennessee. Jamel Dean is going to be a free agent, so we'll see if they do bring him back. If they don't, I think this pick will probably make a lot of sense. Colston Hood going to Tampa Bay. The Jets. The Jets will select a quarterback. Ty Simpson, quarterback out of Alabama. I think there's going to be a debate between picks 16 and 21. 21 is Pittsburgh. Because those are the two teams that are going to need quarterback, and there are going to be a landing spot for Ty Simpson. To me, I think Ty Simpson will go to New York. He's going to probably end up having a competition there in New York. And if he has to sit out 1 year and learn from a guy like Kirk Cousins for 1 year, maybe that would probably be enough for him to be a starter in next year. So Ty Simpson to the Jets. Then the Detroit Lions at 17, they select Akeem Mesidor, defensive end out of Miami. Get him some pass rushing help. Give him some Aiden Hutchinson, another help, and Mansour can do it. He did that with Ruben Bain Jr. I think he can do that with Aiden Hutchinson. So Akeem Mesidor to Detroit. At 18, the Minnesota Vikings select Avion Terrell, cornerback out of Clemson. He fits with Brian Flores' defense. He can blitz. He can do man coverage a lot. They are going to probably have him play man coverage, and he is a pick machine. So I do see him probably, hopefully, a 6-7 interceptions for Avion Terrell. Then the Carolina Panthers at number 19. So I went back in three guys, and I went to one guy. I think it's going to be Kendrick Falk, defensive end out of Auburn. Last year I had Jalen Walker because they need that pass rush. They missed it out, and they got T-Mac. I think this year they're going to address defense this time, and it starts with this guy, Kendrick Falk. I think he's a really good pass rush. He has the ability to get after the rush against the tackle, and I think he's a 10.5 sack of guy, and I think he can do that in Charlotte. I think the Panthers need, if they're going to win the division, they need to sack the quarterback, and I think Kendrick Falk with Nick Gordon on the other side, this Panthers team with that young pass rush, they can make some noise in the NFC. 20th pick, the Dallas Cowboys. They select Cashion Howell, defensive end out of Texas A&M. I think this should be a good pick for Dallas. They need to have another pass rush to replace Micah Parsons. I think Cashion Howell at this stage fits in Dallas. 21st, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the host of the 2026 draft, select Mikael Lemon, wide receiver out of USC. I think this could be the perfect fit. Pittsburgh's only issue is not quarterback. It's not their offensive line. It's their wide receivers. Let me mention those receivers the best I can. Besides DK Metcalf, Adam Thielen, MBS, Calvin Austin, Roman Wilson, those guys, yeah, 50 receiving yards. Mikael Lemon can upgrade that. Put DK Metcalf with Mikael Lemon on the other hand, and whoever the quarterback's going to be, that Steelers offense will be a better offense than last year under new head coach Mike McCarthy. Number 22nd, the Chargers selecting, I'm going to pronounce the name, Vega Luna, however y'all call him. Offensive guard for Penn State. They need to address that guard position. Joe Alt, Rashawn Slater, they're both going to be healthy. Zion Johnson, we'll see what his future is going to be. And then you got Mekhi Becton, which probably they'll still keep him. Center is going to be the other question, but I think they're going to address the guard. They want depth at that offensive line, so I think Vega fits there. So I like the Penn State guard going to the Chargers. 23, the Eagles. This might disappoint you guys for if you're doing mock drafts, but this one really is pain. I have Kenyon Sadiq to the Philadelphia Eagles. You know how Howie Roseman wants to make some big trades to get those big prospects? Well, this is one of them. I think Kenyon Sadiq to the Eagles would be a great matchmaker because they need another weapon for Jalen Hurts. Dallas Goedert, yes, he's really good tight end, and he's heading to free agency. So either if they don't bring him back, you can see Kenyon Sadiq to Philadelphia. Him with Jalen Hurts, and then a Saquon Barkley, Devontae Smith, whatever happens to A.J. Brown. That offense is going to look a little more better than last year. I like Kenyon Sadiq, the tight end from Oregon, going to Philadelphia. 24, Cleveland. Browns will select Denzel Boston, wide receiver out of Washington. I think they will address wide receiver in this year's draft in the first round, hopefully. But I have Spencer Fano at number 6, but I think Cleveland will address the wide receiver in 24 with the 24th pick being Denzel Boston. Then 25th, the Bears. I like the Bears upgrading their defensive line with Caden McDonald, defensive tackle at Ohio State. 26, Bills with Joe Brady as their new head coach. They select Casey Consenipchins, wide receiver out of Texas A&M, who was born at northwest of New York, now returns to New York, but plays with the Buffalo Bills. 27, 49ers select Kayla Lamu, tackle out of Utah. Could probably be the replacement for Trent Williams. 28, Houston, the Texans select Caleb Banks, defensive tackle out of Florida, to ensure their defensive line. 29, Rams select Mauro Freeland, tackle out of Georgia. He's probably going to end up being the replacement for Robert Hainston, or unless they put him at left tackle, and they'll probably make some changes at that O-line. 30, Broncos select Peter Woods, defensive tackle out of Clemson. I think he'll replace DJ Jones, who's going to hit the free agency. 31, I have the Patriots getting a real good pass rusher and getting TJ Parker, defensive end out of Clemson. I think him with Harold Landry, and hopefully if LaCavion Chaisson does come back, watch the Patriots. The Patriots could be a scary team with TJ Park with that trio. And then the defending Super Bowl champions, the Seattle Seahawks. Tariq Woolen is going to hit free agency. Josh Jobe is going to be hitting the free agency. So if they don't get one of those guys back, I think Brennan Ceci, cornerback out of South Carolina, will be a great replacement for both Jobe and Tariq Woolen. That's it for NFL Mock Draft 1.0. Again, I'll do another mock draft 2.0, hopefully in 2 or 3 weeks or so, after free agency. Hopefully, 2.0 will probably be a lot of more changes as the new season is almost coming and free agency. I cannot wait. If you've not seen my other videos, go check them out on my channel. Of course, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell for more sports news.